PCE data came out this morning, sending the markets up. We've got Bitcoin up, Ethereum up, the miners are up. Basically, everything is up this morning off of that news. We also got something interesting happening in the money market funds. We're going to talk about that real quick right at the beginning here. But first, let's look at PCE. You can see core PCE data came out this morning. And let's go over here. This is Walter Bloomberg. We got a nice little blue check there. Anyways, you can see that the U.S. price index rose month over month, 0.1% versus 0.0% previous, and an estimation of 0.1. So it came in at estimates. The price index came in 2.5 versus 2.6. So they beat the estimate there on the year over year on the PCE index. So that's great. But core PCE month over month came in 0.2 versus an estimation of 0.2. So that came right in line here. And US core PCE came in at 2.6, which year over year, which is right in line with estimates. So this is great news for the Fed in terms of what they're expecting. You saw that jobs came in, jobless claims came in right in line yesterday. We've got core PCE coming in right in line today. We've got the Fed meeting is actually next week on Wednesday. That there may be a surprise cut coming that day. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think that would scare markets real bad. So I don't know if they would do that. I think they may hold to their expected September cut. But actually, let's look at the CME Watch tool. CME Watch tool. Now that this data is out, let's take a look at the CME Watch tool. That did not load correctly. All right, there we go. Come on, load. Why are you so slow? So July 31st, yeah. So there is basically a no, still of a cut on Wednesday, whereas on September it's an 87.8% chance that we're going to get that cut down to 5.2. So great, awesome, we're doing great. Okay, moving on to the money market funds here. So this data actually came out yesterday, but super interesting here. You can see, so this was for 724, but it was reported yesterday on 725. I'm reporting this morning on 726. Anyways, these numbers right here, they're falling. They've been growing for such a long time, and they are finally falling. Retail money market funds fell by $4 billion nearly. Institutional by $8 billion. It's not huge, but you know where that money is finding itself? It's finding itself out of these 5% instruments, and it's finding its way back into on-risk assets. We're talking about small caps. We're talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about miners. It's finding its money. The money is finding its way there. It's not finding its way to NVIDIA. NVIDIA fell pretty hard, but it might be coming up today. We'll see. But the money is coming out of the money market funds where they've been locked up at 5% for years, and they're finally getting back in the game. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin is exciting. This is a really good look here on Bitcoin. Look at this thing. Let me go here. Let me get my drawing right there. This right here. This should make you very excited about what's about to happen this weekend and going into next week. That is a morning star pattern. As long as we close the day anywhere above 66,400, we are in a solid morning star pattern. Look at the wick on the bottom of that thing. Let's go here. This wick came all the way down to 63.4, brought it all the way up to the body at 65.3 yesterday. And then today we're just solid body all the way up. Honestly, if we close above the body of that candle there from, was that the 23rd at 67.5 right here? This candle, the 23rd at 67.5. We close above that. We're going to take out this high here at 68 real fast. We're going to be right at $72,000. Real fast all again. Now will hinge on what happens at the conference tomorrow. We've got some very important speakers coming through tomorrow. And this is a beautiful morning star pattern. And man, I just want to see that just take off. I know we've seen plenty of bullish patterns get deflated real fast. And I'm hoping that's not the case on this one, but that is a super bullish pattern there on Bitcoin. And that's going to be really good for our miners going into the first week of August next week. All right, Ethereum also up, but yesterday had a pretty bad tumble. It was down 4.83% after being down 4.25% the day before. We had a drop all the way down to 3,089 yesterday. So since the ETF started trading, it fell 13.4%. Is it ready to start going back up again now? I don't know. We'll see. I think it could be, but we do need to get above 3,300 before I would say that solidly. All right, let's get into the miners. So yesterday was a kind of a choppy, terrible day for the miners, but you can see here in the pre-market, CleanSpark all the way back up to nearly $17, when it closed at 16.18 yesterday. So it is all the way back up to $17. Let's see if it can finally break 18. Let's see if this thing can solidly get out of this stupid range it's been in for a while. Some issues on this chart, though. The MACD did cross over to the downside yesterday. The RSI is all the way down at 40 now. I think those will probably change once market opens here in about 15 minutes. But we will have to see. I will report on that when it's over. Tomorrow will be the weekly closes video, so don't miss that. That's going to be very interesting. Also, I think I'll do a 1 minute technical analysis short on CleanSpark today, sometime this afternoon, probably after market close. I've been doing that as a new video series. I've been liking to do that. I just get on my phone and do a quick 1 minute technical for a single ticker. So don't miss that either. That's going to be coming out now, maybe not daily, but it'll be coming out a couple times a week where I do a ticker like that. Anyways, yeah, CleanSpark still in the range, but this morning up to nearly $17. Let's take a look at Mara. Mara got slammed the last few days. It too is seeing a nice pop in the pre-market up to 21.46. That's nice. We came all the way down to my line here. Let me turn off my indicators. Came all the way down to my line here at about 1980 yesterday, and we are bouncing off of it. It just loves this line, this 1980 line. If you can pick up Mara at 1980, and of course, none of this is financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. But man, if you could pick up some Mara at 1980, you're doing pretty well over and over and over again if you could do that. So anyways, the MACD also not looking great on here. It crossed over to the downside. The RSI is down at 37. So those two things are in bear territory. So I wouldn't get super duper excited yet. But so you see how this was a green candle here yesterday. It was slightly, right? Well, no, it was down, but well, yeah, it's still green, but it was down. If today we can get a closure above $22 on Mara, I'd be thinking that we very likely are done with this downturn and we might find ourselves crawling back up, at least up towards that $25 mark on Mara. We might get ourselves back above structure here if we can get above $22. We may find ourselves high above structure next week. Let's take a look at Bitfarms. So Bitfarms actually also coming back up again here. It came right down to that 250 area, that area of concern that I have, which is 250. That is the line in the sand as far as I'm concerned, because this big dip right here, this candle here on July 5th, that's really a point where we were seeing kind of the height of the things going on between Bitfarms and RIOT. A little bit of manipulation there, in my opinion. So 250 is where my line is in the sand for seeing this thing end up possibly being a double top and coming all the way back down to like maybe even $2, which is a bit of a scary thought. But not today. We are seeing it come off of this thing. This, again, could also print something of a Morningstar candle here today. If we can get ourselves closing above like 260, 270 on Bitfarms, that would be a pretty bullish turnaround move for that. And of course, if we can break above this trend line right here today, that's going to be looking pretty good, which I think we might do if we hold just the moves that we have done in the pre-market. All right, let's move on to BitDigital. BitDigital scared me a little bit yesterday. It dropped out beneath this yellow trend line here, which was beneath the midline of the ATR bands. That kind of a little spooky. Now, let's go over here, turn this on. We're still below it, even with the pre-market move. So I want to see BitDigital get over 385. BitDigital is not out of the woods yet until it is above 385. Okay? Even with this little pop here, the fact that we lost this channel between this red ATR band and the yellow ATR band, that is not good. That is bearish. The MACD crossed over 2 days ago, and the RSI is down in bear territory. So if we're going to see a recovery, I want to see price over 385. Otherwise, I am not convinced that we're not potentially still on our way down after this nice big run up here since April 26th, right? April 16th, sorry, April 16th, where we ran up from 177 all the way to 438. If you caught the majority of that, congratulations. That's a sweet move. I think my cost basis is about $2.50. So I'm only up a little over $1 right now, but it needs to get over 385, and then I'll be feeling like we could continue back on in this trend between the red ATR and the yellow ATR on our way up to around $5. So that's what's going on with Bit Digital. Let's take a look at Riot. What's going on with Riot this morning? The pre-market up again. It's looking, this is looking exactly like Mara, where I want to see it get up and above. In this case, 1184. I want to see it get up and above about 1180. Let's say 1180. I want to see it get up and above 1180. Promising thing about Riot, the MACD has not crossed to the downside. It might just tap the signal line and continue on. The RSI, though, is in bear territory, but only a little bit. It's at 45. Bull territory is right there at 50. So Riot is actually in a slightly stronger position than Mara right now. It is also in the pre-market here. It is above all this structure here. So that's good. It has gotten back above this structure. And if you look right here at this line, it's right at the very, very top of that structure there at 1135. Very, very top of it. So if we open up and start moving upward, we're going to be right above that structure. That's really nice. We might see this as something of an island reversal right here for Riot. So that's actually good. Come on, Riot. I mean, they did have a positive outcome of their hearing in Canada with Bitfarms. So they are permitted to purchase more shares of Bitfarms without triggering a poison pill. So that is pretty good for Riot. They just bought that new miner. They've got a lot of energy. So there's a lot of good things set up for Riot. It is up to their management to execute on those things, though, which is the only thing I'm concerned about, because they have been dropping the ball a little bit on execution from Riot. So come on, Riot, get it together. You're on the right path. Stay the course. Let's see that happen, and then we'll see Riot, trading once again up here at like the high teens, maybe low 20s, if we can see them get it together in that way. And they are on the right track, so I'm pretty happy about that. Our biggest hurdle right now is this fuchsia line here at 1219. We get above that, then we start trading in the upper half of the Fibonacci bands here. So that would be pretty great. All right, let's take a look at IREN. So IREN hit my first purchase target yesterday, which was 967. And it's bouncing right off of it. So I'm going to hold. I'm still waiting a little bit. When it breaks this line, this trend line here that I've got here, when it breaks that like solidly, so maybe not today, maybe Monday, I'll look at that. When it does that, I'm probably going to seriously assess selling some puts, at the money puts. That'll probably be around $10, right? So I'll be selling at the money puts around $10 if it breaks this line now and doesn't continue on down a little bit further. In the pre-market here, we are up at 999, which is right at the top of the body of the candle that fell yesterday. Now, this is great. This is great. Technically, this looks great. It did its controlled drop off here, and if it bounces here and recovers, then I can start selling puts like at the money, collect my premium, and see if I get executed or not on IREN, and then that way I can pick up a few hundred shares for cheap. It may not hit my $8 target, given how Bitcoin is doing such a hard turnaround. It might not hit my $8 target, which is okay. That was just a target. That was just an area of worst case scenario as it fell right now. So getting all the way down to 967 and past my line there, I'm actually pretty happy about that. I feel like this technical analysis came out great. Hit my first target. Didn't hit my ultimate target down here, but hitting my first target is, that's a big milestone there for it. So if it breaks this trend line, even if it goes sideways and starts basing here, I will likely very seriously consider selling some puts at the money in order to collect that premium and hopefully get executed so I can also collect the shares. That is my plan on IREN. We'll see how that goes. But right now, it could turn around right here. If we get some movement, just breaking this trend line, and we get ourselves back above 1126, oof, you better believe we're going all the way up to we're going to go all the way up to test these highs again. My only fear up here is if it starts to fall again and it starts looking like a head and shoulders. So we got like a shoulder. Whoops. We got like a shoulder here, potential head. And then if it came up here and like failed, that could be a shoulder taking us even further down. we'll see. That might be our September. September might be where we find ourselves at $8. We'll see. We shall see. But I do like this setup right now. It is actually looking pretty good, pretty bullish. So I'm pretty stoked to get in there on some IREN. CORZ. Oh yeah, it's got a smaller jump up this morning. CORZ is actually showing some weakness here compared to its peers right now. It fell out of this ascending channel that I've got here, which is also where the yellow line for the ATR bands, it broke out beneath that today. It looks like it's going to open solidly beneath that. It's got to charge up above 1072 to get back into bull territory. Otherwise, right now it is in bear territory, and sorry, not clean. CORZ is looking like it could come down to about 831 out of this move, so it hasn't really broken away from that. Let's take a look at WULF. WULF is same thing as CORZ, but it is looking a little better because in the pre-market here, you can see that the body, the pre-market candles up at 483, which is up at the very top of the body yesterday, where it broke away from this yellow ATR band, and I mean, honestly, it was a gap down, and so I mean, it's still bearish. It's still bearish. Don't get me wrong. This is still a bearish chart here. It does need to get back above 561 to defeat that bearish sentiment. We could find ourselves at 395 before that, but it does look good on WULF. It is looking stronger while still a little bearish. Let's take a look at CIFR real quick. CIFR, 586. It's hanging out. CIFR, I mean, it's not really doing much. It's staying in the top half of this band here for now. It could go up as high as 667. As long as it stays above 554, it's looking like it will like to hang out sideways. Again, it is searching for a buyer. We'll know more when CIFR gets a buyer, really what's going on with it. So let's take a look at small caps real quick. IWM. I am heavy on this one right now, and I'm going to get paid today. All right, so bull flag. Still a bull flag right there. Yesterday was last 2 days were a bit choppy. This morning, it looks like we are going to get a very nice pattern here. We're going to open up above all this here on the IWM today, probably church up a little bit, maybe before we see some resistance here, but we might run for this high here at 226 today on IWM. This is looking great. And as you know, I am in on the TNA one. So I'm in on TNA, which is a triple leveraged ETF of the IWM. But not just that, I bought options on TNA going all the way out until January. So these are going to be doing very well this morning with this opening up. So that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Don't forget to check out the Trade Cave store. Now, link in the description as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.